Live here. Oh shit, I got good stream. Alright. So, welcome to Taco Talk. Today, I don't know if you caught the Instagram feed, but I was cooking some salmon, some rice, and some fingerling potatoes, and I turned them into tacos. Now, as you can see here, I added a few things. I sauteed some mushrooms, cooked a little bit of bacon to throw up on top. I wanted to stack these flavors for a reason. Most, if not all of my tacos have a story behind them. Now, somebody made this dish with me. There was some vegetables included, but I omitted the veggies because I'm making a taco. And he showed me this method of cooking salmon utilizing just tinfoil. Now, the conversation was, we were kind of swinging our chef's knives, if you will, about cooking styles, cooking methods, and places we'd been and places we'd cooked and so on and so forth. And so that turned into, a pissing contest. Not a pissing contest, really. It was just kind of, a measuring contest, if you will, to see, who had been where and what kind of experience we had had. And so we were talking about camping, and I brought up the fact that I had made beer butt chicken. And I had thought that it was something, that it was ingenuity, that it was, little secret shit. And I started to explain to me the roots of beer butt chicken and so on and so forth. All right, whatever. So I told him, we were out at the campfire and all we had was my EBT card and a shit ton of beer that we had been out drinking. Well, I don't know why, but for some reason, I'd gotten a call. That's a long story, but I'd gotten a call that said to check my EBT. Did you get paid? I need you to go to the grocery store, or whatever. So I'm thinking, oh shit, hey, you know what, guys? I think I have EBT. I'll go to the store and get some shit. So we ran to the local grocery store, grabbed some, I don't know why they had them there, but Cornish game hens out of the meat section, and then we grabbed a few of those, some limes, a little bit of seasoning, salt, pepper, and some garlic and an onion. And went back to the campfire, rubbed the chicken down with oil, seasoned them up real good, and then drank a little bit of the beer out of there so that I, only had a quarter of the way, put the seasonings inside of the beer, put the beer up the chicken's ass, put it on the fire, right? We all know the drill. Got done, the chicken's just, pouring out water. So we tell the story, and he explained to me, and I didn't realize that I had seen this before, but he told me to watch a show on Netflix, blah, 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 blah. But he told me how, growing up in Connecticut, they would go fishing. And Atlantic salmon, which I have here in honor of Chef Gabriel, they went fishing and caught an Atlantic salmon, and got his knife kit out of his trunk, descaled it. They lit a fire, and all he had was tinfoil, and then jumped over the wall to somebody's garden and picked a few things out of there. Literally had a little bit of a roll lettuce. He said there was a roll lettuce, carrots. He goes, it was like a Peter Rabbit garden. Anyways, so he has this very vivid story about jumping and running through this garden. He picks the herbs that he needs out of the garden, runs out of the other, jumps over the fence to see what they had. There was a dog. He jumps over that fence to get away from the dog. There was a lemon tree out front. So he grabs some more lemons, and he tells me this story about how he comes back and he makes a pan out of aluminum foil. We have aluminum pans, duh. So, okay, I bought it. So he makes a pan out of aluminum foil for him to be able, to get busy or whatever. He wraps this fish up, throws it on the coals, does his thing, has this tremendous date, walk on the beach, blah, 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 gets laid. Yeah. Well, we thought it was a great story. I was very inspired. by him sharing that with me because of the the relationship that we had. So today, I have reconstructed his dish. Only, I added fingerling potatoes. There's a whole other story behind that, but I added the fingerling potatoes underneath the rice to go with another story that another chef at the school had told me. That's for another time. But the blue potatoes under here are from Peru, right? Fingerling potatoes are just, well, we know what they are. The mushrooms and the bacon are my added flair. The dill, I don't know how this man can look me square in the face and tell me that there just so happen to be rosemary, thyme, and dill in this person's backyard that he just so happened to jump in the back of. Whatever, it's cool. For the sake of tacoing, I have onions and cilantro on here. I cooked them a little, I cut them a little weird so they looked just kind of funky and artistic. And I have a green sauce here that I made. It's a puree, aguacate. This is avocado salsa, and I threw it in the blender. Just a little more cilantro and some garlic. Yeah, this gave me a whole nother bunch of ideas. So I'm inspired. Let's see how this goes. Fuck. Wow. Holy shit. God damn. Okay. I was just gonna take a bite and like fake the funk, but whoa, hold on. That's a good ass fucking taco. I have not met a taco that I have made that is not bomb. Well, I need a name for it. Well, anyways, relevance. So here's the relevance. You have a man, and I wish I can get a hold of him. I'm gonna reach out to him on Facebook. But you have a man who grew up in Connecticut, slightly privileged, graduated from the Culinary Institute of America, rubbed elbows, cooked for presidents, teacher, well-respected man. And then you have me, right? The dynamic there is that my upbringing and my background and the stuff that I had been going through at the time of meeting Chef Gabriel, and Chef David too. He shared a little bit, and so did my other teacher, Chef Robert. He cooked us. He taught us 7 different ways to cook salmon at the same time, which I thought was. I've seen other chefs do it. It was amazing to see that in front of me. I was in the middle of a learning experience, and so I received it different. So this salmon, though, having all those different stories of being able to share with other people, we live 2 completely different lives, and yet here's a common denominator. The premise of all this is that we all eat. We all need nourishment. But B, I'd had salmon before, right? I had seen a salmon at a buffet or whatever, and yeah, I was younger, but my experience and my culture to salmon is different than his, right? It's something that they ate. His upbringing being, like I was saying, a little more privileged. Mine being not so privileged. I mean, I was spoiled, but I grew up in the hood, man. Like, give me a break. You know what I'm saying? And as my parents worked and got better jobs, we moved to better places. Okay. You have these 2 cultures that collide. You have me, who had just gotten out, looking at, okay, well, I like fish, right? And I've tried different kinds, but hadn't had a chance to eat salmon that I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm with the street tacos. You know, I know food. I have my own culture. Just like him, on the flip side, he knows food. He has his own culture. And so you have these two cultures colliding in the middle of an educational process in academia, where I'm going to culinary school to get a degree so that I have some validation and some legitimacy behind my craft that I'm gifted and talented at, obviously, right? But because I chose, to live my life the way that I lived it, now there's some extra things that come into play, as opposed to somebody who, lived according to certain standards, certain societal standards that wouldn't have them questioning, their legitimacy or their skill level. So, I thought this was an interesting opener, just to kind of get the juices flowing. What happens here is, if I had Chef Gabriel on, we would talk about his upbringing and what his experience is with salmon. And I shared my experience with salmon, and then we would talk about how our experiences mesh, which would be culinary school, which, I shared with you. And then we could talk about how it brought the two of us together, because him and I did not see eye to eye freshman semester. My God, he hated me. I mean, most people did. And, there was a growing process involved, and not to get too far into, any facets or details or excuses for anything, but you had a unique situation where you had a reintegration into society after an extremely long period of time being away. And so now you have like a culture shock, and you have a lot of dynamics going on. So, I appreciate him for taking the time to respect himself and his craft enough to give me a chance to go, well, you know what, then the kid's a hard worker, so let's see what he can do. With the right direction, I was able to tune some stuff up. Rest in peace to my homeboy Bruce. Man, I tell you what, I needed a leash put on me during school, or else I wouldn't have passed. And thank God for the faculty who did. They helped me out. And that there is the exact that example there encompasses, that whole story there, it encompasses exactly how Tacotalk, what exactly Tacotalk is trying to highlight, and exactly how this works. And two people who had never had sat down to have dinner before are, talking about their personal experiences. That's phenomenal. That's breakthrough. Especially if you want to get deep into culture, especially for white people, because now you have people who are the most judgmental, as we deem in society. Oh, white people are the most judgmental. Okay. Well, now being a white person who is of a mixed race, who is of a mixed culture, who does not identify with all that bullshit, now gets to sit down with a fellow white person and gets to get judged that hard. And with the same measure he judges me, he got to judge himself. And I thought that was very groundbreaking and very poignant and very profound. It's a very profound statement to have that big of a change. You look at a whole different type of people that you have categorized or compartmentalized in your mind, or even segregated, might I even say the nasty S word. So it's a very beautiful thing that we're doing here. I hope you can see my vision. If you don't, I feel sorry for you. I'm kidding. I'm really not, though. This is the premise. This is the purpose of this. We need to be able to understand each other without feeling like we're prying into each other's business too much. There's a set of guidelines and boundaries that we all have as humans, and anything outside of the general, is extra due to pain or personal harm or trauma, which is understandable. But how do we get over that trauma, right? How do we heal? So that's a secondary important point to this whole Taco Talk. Recognizing each other, seeing each other for who we are. We're humans. We're flawed individuals who do things and don't do things. So if we understand one another and how we interact with each other a little better, we'll be able to get along. We'll be able to start fucking with each other a little more, expand our horizons. I got an Asian fusion Mexican dish and a Mexican, Japanese, Puerto Rican dish, and I got a Puerto Rican and an Italian food. I got a lot of things, that mesh together, and a lot of the things that mesh together, if you break it down to the root, the people of each thing that I have put together don't get along, and it's very, very strange because we all have a lot in common. So, stay safe, be well. I hope my feed didn't burn out. Oh, no, we're good. The stream sucks, but it's okay. I've downloaded a high definition version of this, which will be uploaded. Hopefully I have enough space. And if I don't, we'll figure it out. Y'all be safe. Enjoy. I'm going to eat this other fucking taco because it's mom. And as soon as I figure out how to upload the straight audio,